selfies are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you.
It just feels like
the world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride. Kill those people.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at, see that chap over there? Take your hand off my penis!
The Deputy Secretary, the Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary.
This guy is fucking stupid!
stay cheesy. And one more sound. All right, how's it going, beautiful people? My awesome staff class. Today is the 27th of October, and man, what a difference a day makes, man. In this modern era, this circus of an era, it's crazy how you have breaking news on top of breaking news, and eventually it's just going to be just constantly just bombarding each other with worse news. And so, like, we hear about the House Speaker bullshit, and then right after that, it's another breaking news. We hear about the guy in Maine a couple days ago, and the fact that this dude is still walking around. I mean, this is the worst it's been, because at least out of what we usually expect is the dude puts himself out, or eventually dude gets taken out. Takes forever, but eventually they take him out. This guy's still roaming around. So it's a really fucking, I mean, it's not a scary thought, that this one dude is going to go around, he's not going to kill everybody, but I mean, it's just crazy bullshit that you can kill 18 people on, I might have that number wrong, but I mean, you can kill a dozen people and get away with it. I mean, not get away with it, but literally get away with it in a time like this, where we have, excuse me, cameras on every angle. We have cameras on every fucking street. We have cameras on every building, every policeman, every person on the street has a damn camera. So it's just really strange that someone could get away like that. John Mulaney has a really great joke about how to get away with a bank robbery in the 20s. And basically, you just had to not be there when the police show up. And it's very true. And that's really how bank robberies went back then. They were so desperate. They were so, they weren't technically or technologically advanced enough to have some, and there was no crazy ass CIA at the time. CIA was not even it was not even implemented and brought up till after World War II, and I think it was around 48. And the CIA was actually originally the OSS, and the OSS had originally been the overseers and our actual strategical analysis with surveillance. And it would only be during wartime. And so the OSS was our surveillance. It was our CIA, but it was only valid during wartime. So during peace times, the OSS would pretty much go back to sleep, and we move on until the next goddamn catastrophe or next war, and then it happens again. So either you have a constant state of war to continue this. If you want that to be your overall big picture surveillance, then you're probably going to want to be at war all the time. And nowadays, we see it every day that we're in a war with something. And then when there's no such thing as peacetime anymore, because even during the war in Afghanistan and the war in Iraq, we were dealing with the war on drugs, which is total horseshit, knowing that the poppy fields are literally guarded by our own military. And then you tell us, oh, it's just a precarious situation. And like Geraldo talked about it, like, oh, we're in just a really precarious situation having to guard these. Yeah, right. We don't want to guard millions, billions of dollars in fucking drug money. Oh, yeah, America's not going to put their foot on that person's neck. Get out of here. So the CIA replaced the OSS, and then the CIA became a giant goddamn earphone, basically shoved into all of our mouths. And it's crazy if you actually know the story of the CIA, because it was almost when Operation Mockingbird was in its infancy, and CIA was basically in its infancy. It was almost torn down by a child. A child almost managed to get the entire CIA to be ripped down because he noticed that his phone was tapped, and he was a child, and he heard adults talking. Now, years after his father died, he wrote a book, I think. But it's just fucking insane that they were trying to figure out a way to surveil us without our permission and without any need for it. Any need for any kind of espionage, because we're Americans. And then we actually, if you watch movies like Fahrenheit 9/11, you see that we got so crazy to the point we had FBI putting in plants, people planted into systems that were not systems. They were literally like little community watch groups. One of them was a community watch group that just literally bakes cookies and reads books. They talk, and then they find out one of their own, the new guy, turned out to be a fucking agent with a totally different name, and he gets killed by, I think, a hit and run or something like that. So they find out on their own, oh shit, turns out Jimmy wasn't Jimmy at all. So then you have these complete lying assholes. And rather than getting into Trump, I really want to talk about more like George Santos, because George Santos actually is still here. He's not aspiring anything other than to stay where he is. And of course, he has absolutely no shame. And, to even just look at a record and see the kind of record that he does with, 23 charges. And so you got wire fraud, conspiracy, false statements. Oh, we got falsification of records, aggravated identity theft, and credit card fraud. And if you guys remember, yesterday I showed you guys a meme of him that he put up. He made up of course he made his own fucking meme. This is the type of guy that'll go through all of this work for himself to look good. It's like, dude, if you could apply that same amount of effort into, I don't know, passing a bill, maybe then I could have some iota of respect for you. But nothing. I got nothing. You're an evil fat prick that lost weight, and you're still a fat prick. All right. Just get over it. You're a fucking scumbag. And it really is just amazing how the constituents themselves want him out, and now expulsion is finally on the table, which should have been on the table 2 years ago. Let alone the moment he got the job, he should have never gotten in the first place. Now, I blame the media absolutely, because you are there, you're interviewing these guys when they get these promotions. You don't do any vetting whatsoever anymore. Oh yeah, well, he's in Congress, so you had to do something, right? No, that's not how it works. This is not the deal.
Is expected in federal court tomorrow on the latest charges that he stole from donors and lied on election filings. But CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff reports he may soon be facing an expulsion vote in Congress.
He's not really who he says he is.
I think he should be expelled. I think there's enough evidence.
It's incomprehensible that he would still be in there.
Constituents we spoke to answered decisively. George Santos has got to go. This expulsion resolution, introduced weeks ago, stalled in the House Speaker gridlock, could advance to the House next week at the request of Congressman Anthony D'Esposito.
I am fully.
That's insanity. So again, why now? Like, why did it take so long to do any kind of actual due diligence? Why did it take so long to know about all these scams? Unless you did already know about them and you just didn't care, or you didn't look. So I wanted to know what he actually does. And so, has he ever done anything? Because we know that people like Marjorie Taylor Greene have absolutely no actual success rate. We know that Jim Jordan had 0 success rate. So here's George DeVolder Santos. All right, so now he went by a fake name that was Anthony DeVolder. Kind of gives you away when you're using your own middle name, pal. So now we look down here, and this is obviously this is a what's it called? This is Bill Track 50 or Bill Track, which is I believe it's a .com, but there's also, you can go to another one that's like bills.org. But this is just showing us the basics here on what he has actually done. And if you notice, everything here says in committee, which means has not passed, has not progressed, has not done anything. Now, the only bill I see introduced was HC Resolution 71, expressing the sense of Congress to encourage full participation of Taiwan in the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum. Okay, so this must have been around the time where he made up that fucking ridiculous lie about his niece being kidnapped by Chinese communists. So because of that tiny little piece of text right there, he made up an entire story of losing a niece to what? Human trafficking? Are we talking sex slavery? What are you talking about? And he said, I don't want to say it's a conspiracy, but if the shoe fits, right? And, it just made me think, I don't trust anybody that answers a yes or no question with another question. That is a liar, and it's pretty fucking obvious. So now we're gonna watch a actual Fox News interview where I've never seen somebody actually finally ask him, "Do you have no shame? Do you literally have no conscience whatsoever?" And the fact that this was asked on all TV networks. Of all the networks, you fucking have Fox News check your ass at the door. I mean, that is kudos. That's a kudos. And this was, I think, about 9 months ago, I think. So there were far more arms to continue, but we didn't find out about until later. So let's go ahead and listen.
If I were one of those in New York's 3rd District right now that the election is over, and I'm finding out all of these lies that you've told, not just one little lie or one little embellishment, these are blatant lies. My question is, do you have no shame? Do you have no shame in the people who are now, you're asking to trust you to go and be their voice for them, their families, and their kids in Washington?
Tulsi, I can say the same thing about the Democrats.
Democrats don't make up fake names and fucking steal dogs or whatever the fuck you do. So I expect out of this now. Personally, I've never actually seen this interview, so we're watching this together. So I have no clue what he's actually going to talk about, but I just, right away, we can already assume he's going to project and, not actually answer the question. He's going to do whatever he can to not answer that question, because the answer is no. He does not have shame, or he gets off on embarrassment. Some people are like that. There's I believe it's called shame porn or something like that. I had a friend that was really into that kind of stuff. Now, a long time ago, back in the galaxy far, far away, I was doing certain kind of work that is very sexual in nature, and it involves cameras. And so the point was that, I'd heard those stories, of people that straight up got off on shame. And they these were professionals that it's porn, all right? It's porn. So I was like 19. I lied. I said I was 19. I was 17. But I was a damn good looking kid, so whatever. I got by. And so the point is that I met some very interesting people, some very great people, some very smart people. You'd be fucking surprised at the people you meet in any industry. I don't care if you're in porn, from porn to fucking, working in a coffee shop, there's some weird motherfuckers out there, all right? And there ain't nothing wrong with it. Hey, man, let that freak flag fly, okay? But not this goddamn freak right here. This is not fair. That's not a freak flag. That's just a fucking weirdo. There's a difference between a freak and a weirdo. And that dude's just... No, you know what? Weirdos are cool. He's just an asshole. All right, let's continue.
And the party. Look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden's been lying to the American people for 40 years. He's the president of the United States. Democrats resoundingly support him. Do they have no shame? I've made this very clear.
This is not about the Democratic Party, though. This is about your relationship, frankly, with the people who've entrusted you to go and fight for them. And I think one of the questions that really probably hits home to a lot of people is are you Jewish? We've got a letter that your campaign sent out earlier this year, which reads as follows. As a proud American Jew, I've been to Israel numerous times for educational, business, and leisurely trips. You said there in that letter that you are, quote, a proud American Jew. How do you explain that?
My heritage is Jewish. I've always identified as Jewish. I was raised a practicing Catholic. I think I've gone through this. Even I've not being raised a practicing Jew, I've always joked with friends and circles, even in the campaign.
That's not the point. We all know what joke he's gonna say. The whole "I'm Jewish." No, motherfucker. It states American Jew. All right, that's totally different than Jewish. There's no dash. There's no fucking hyphen. There's no parenthesis. There's no fucking ellipses. So you're full of shit. There's no fucking ampersand. There's no pound sign. You're a fucking liar. And you notice that the right away, so we can assume that there's going to be projection. And right away, Joe Biden, Democrat. So he's literally saying that people that vote Democrat should feel shame. Those people should feel shame, but not, a piece of shit that literally lies about every goddamn thing in the book. And dude, you were in drag. It's cool, man. Why do people freak out about these drag things? Okay, I know I made an episode on this, but I don't know if anyone watched it. Probably not. But drag shows in military have been around since fucking World War One. There's fucking proof of it. There's video of it in World War II, but this was not new. The guys would put these shows on to fucking entertain each other. Now, in any other fucking in any other context, you'd think, oh, that's so fucking weird. But these are guys with no entertainment, stuck out in a fucking world they don't know. And yeah, they're going to try to find any kind of humor in any way they can. So they did drag shows, and there's straight up people fucking throwing money at them and shit like that, like it was a strip club. Now that's fucking World War One, dude. Now before World War II, the gay and lesbian and feminist protesters were becoming a lot bigger in Germany, and they were becoming a lot more outspoken, and they became more prevalent. And so they wanted to be seen. And unfortunately, they picked the worst goddamn time, which was the 30s, because you have World War II coming right up. And, although Adolf Hitler and historians will tell you that, Germany was fighting for its life and economically so, but the people, the communities themselves, they still had senses of humor. They had gays, they had straights, they have lesbians, they have fucking trans. This is nothing new. Everyone will tell you that this is all today's bullshit. It's not. This has been for fucking millennia. We have seen men in drag, okay? And if you're going to tell me a bunch of dudes wearing powder wigs, and I think they still do it over in the UK, and I think they do it in Canada. They put on those big powder wigs and shit like that. That's not drag. You're wearing fucking wigs and shit. I mean, you're just playing pretend. I don't get it. I think it's immature and foolish, and I think it's childish. And I think that was a custom that was so old and archaic that to keep it around is a way to show that we don't know how to grow up as a species. And I think we see that now more than ever. And when I put in living on a prayer, that's it's really a double entendre, because I mean, there's a lot of different aspects. Actually, it's a multifaceted thing, because I mean, you can use that in so many different ways and of context, because we are technically living on a prayer. So is the GOP. So is fucking Lauren Boebert's career. So is fucking the House of Representatives. Now, let's get that straight. The reason why the House of Representatives needed a speaker that was not McCarthy, the main reason for that is because of Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz likes underage girls. So Matt Gaetz has an investigation on him for underage girls. He wanted McCarthy to smash that fucking case. McCarthy told him, I don't have that fucking power, bro. I don't have it. I don't have that power to get them to stop investigating you. So it really makes you worry. What the fuck did this Mike Johnson promise Matt Gaetz to get his support? And he's super gung-ho calling him Magic Mike or MAGA Mike, whatever the fuck. The dude is weird. And obviously that ugly ass smirk of his and that fucking podcast of his where he's wearing these fucking headphones and it just somehow makes his head look even more bobblehead. Like, dude, I have not seen such a big quaff thing since fucking like Dino Bravo back on fucking Cartoon Network, bro. Yeah, I think I was right. Seriously, it's just weird. He's got this fucking giant butt head poof that it is straight up Beavis and Butthead. Like, I don't know any other way. I think I'm going to put two pictures of them because I don't think you can tell the difference. Or at least think one is the other. Now, so it has nothing to do with anything that they say like Christian values or any of that bullshit. Here's the Christian values right here. And what we're looking at is a picture of our very top people praying. Now, there's, of course, a thing called freedom of religion, but it is not to be enacted on our fucking house floor. All right? Had you done this in the 1700s, in the late 1700s, someone would have stopped you and said, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You don't do that. You do not do that." The whole point is to sit back and the whole point of the state is to sit back and let the other religions flourish the way they're supposed to. That is what America's deal was. That's the separation of church and state. They're separate so that way one can breathe and the other one can live. Hey, what's up, man? Nice to see you. You didn't show up on the counter. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know you messaged. So, this is a scary sight to me. I don't want to see my government praying at all. I mean, that is something you would only find in some sort of ideological state, like, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, who we all know damn well these motherfuckers are slaves to the Saudis because they do whatever the Saudis ask. And I always thought that the best way to get Trump is to, if you're a Christian and you love him so much because you compare him to Jeebus and all that shit, what I want you to do is go to one of his hotels, if there still are any, and check if there's a Bible in there. Because every hotel I've ever been to, every motel, every shitty little hole in the ground has always had a Bible in the nightstand. The nightstand drawer always has a Bible. It's just how it's always been. And so I guarantee you, if you go to a Trump Tower or a Trump hotel and you open up that fucking nightstand, you are not going to find a Bible in there. All right? It's because he doesn't care. He doesn't. I mean, when he literally didn't know what 2 Corinthians was, which is basically a comparison of the real and the fake, it's kind of like a warning. And what's hilarious is you go, 2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians. You guys like that, right? 2 Corinthians. You're a fucking liar. You're a fucking moron and you're a liar. All right? You, don't know it's 2 Corinthians. And 2, you obviously don't even know what it's about because you are the fake demigod that we were supposed to fucking fear, that we were supposed to see coming and reject. But you fucking idiots took it the wrong way. And it's disgusting. So it's great to see that we have shit like Marjorie Taylor Greene finally getting in trouble for the shit she pulls on a daily basis in every committee, and she's an embarrassment to our government. And it took a long ass time, but this woman nails the shit out of her. I'll play a second of it, but it is very long, and I fucking I really recommend you watch it because she fucking nails her.
To Clause 2A1 of Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intention to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows. House Resolution 610, censuring Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Whereas Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has repeatedly fanned the flames of racism, anti-Semitism, hate speech against the LGBTQ community, Islamophobia, Asian hate, xenophobia, and other forms of hatred. Whereas Marjorie Taylor Greene has repeatedly debased the memories of thousands of victims of the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001 by perpetuating.
I don't think we need to go on any further because actually I have a problem with the first part of her questioning, or at least the first part of her idea for expulsion. Leave September 11th out of it. She's done so much more. Now, she goes on for like 20 minutes listing things that she has done. And so she starts off with 9/11, and it's funny that that's like the least of her bullshit. And then she continues to nail her. I highly recommend you check out the video. It is a great scolding of a horrid person that is only here to disrupt our very democracy. That's the only reason why they're here, and they are living on a prayer, and let's hope to God it falls on deaf ears. All right, so I don't know why I pointed up there. Yeah, that guy, yeah, don't do that. So anyways, stay safe. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate your comment, Val. Yeah, stay safe. Stay yourselves. Don't be a fucking sheep. Be a Rick, or at least a Morty. Don't be a Jerry. And see you on the other side. But most of all, stay cheesy, my friends. Stay cheesy. Take it easy.
Please note these are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Gentlemen, this is democracy manifest. Have a look at, see that chap over there? Take your hand off my penis!
The Deputy Secretary, the Deputy Secretary, Deputy Secretary.
This guy is fucking stupid!
Stay cheesy.